Now let's start our morning puja. Please put yourselves in Anjali. Let us pay homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Please put your palms together to partake in the offerings to the Buddha. The offering of the 5 items allows us to express our gratitude to the Buddha and serve as a symbol to help us remember the teachings. Please join wholeheartedly and read the verses together. Offering of light. Light symbolizes wisdom. May the light of Dhamma dispel the darkness of ignorance. Offering of incense. Incense symbolizes the fragrance of pure moral conduct. This reminds us to cultivate good conduct. Offering of water. Water symbolizes purity, clarity, and calmness. It reminds us to practice the Buddha's teachings, to cleanse one's mind, which is full of desires, ill will, and delusion, to attain the state of purity. Offering of fruits. Fruits symbolize the ultimate fruit of enlightenment, which is our goal. They also remind us that all actions will have their effects. Offering of flowers. Flowers symbolize impermanence. The freshness, fragrance, and beauty of flowers are impermanent. This reminds us that we should all live in the present. Remembering thus, we should reduce our craving and attachment. Let us pay respects to the Triple Gem. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Avivadevi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Sahawaka Sangho Sangam namami. We chant the verses for taking the 3 refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. We chant these verses to observe the 5 precepts. Panatipata Viramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Adinatana Viramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Kamesu michachara Viramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Musawada Viramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Surameraya Majapamadatana Viramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Buddha. Iti piso bhagava araham samma sambuddho vijacharana sampano sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati satta deva manusanam buddho bhagavati. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Dhamma. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipassiko opanaiko pachatam veditavu vinuhiti. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Sangha. Supadipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujupatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyayapatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho Samichipatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho Yadidam chatari purisa yugani atta purisa pugala esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo dakineyo anjali karaniyo anuttaram punyaketam lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we'll start off today with some announcements first. Sorry, let me get my clip. Next week's Sunday service, we have Venerable Ratanasara, and he's doing the topic of Are You a Potential Stream Enterer? Again, do register online if you're interested to join us. Year-end retreat, we are closing the registration by end of this month, which is Monday. So if you're interested, do go in and sign up for this retreat ASAP. Ajahn Chattamalo, this is the second session for the Q&A with Ajahn Chattamalo, and this is on Thursday night. There is a limited amount of participants as well, so do register and sign up with us if you are interested to join us. Oh, sorry. So no need to sign up, this is the Zoom, there's the meeting ID and the passcode right there on the screen. BF Junior Youth, we are open for registration. On the 13th, we're open for registration for age 13 to 16. If you're interested, please approach the counter for more information. So without much further ado, we'll start the talk for this week, and that is the title, The Buddhist Perspective of Blessings. Sorry, I'm just stumbling over the words today. And then I guess I will start off with the bio of the speaker today, who is Bhante Anoma. After that, I will invite him out to lead a meditation, short meditation, before he will go through the talk with us. The talk is expected to last about 45 minutes, and then we will have 15 minutes of Q&A. So we are aiming to finish the session by 11:30 so that the Bhante can go for his lunch. Okay? So I'll start the bio first. Bhante Anoma is a graduate from the Buddhist and Pali University of Sri Lanka. He's also born in Sri Lanka itself. He's the religious advisor and resident monk of Buddha Dhamma Mandala Society, BDMS. Besides offering courses at his center, Bhante Anoma teaches at several local Buddhist organizations. He also travels frequently overseas to give talks to various Buddhist groups. So with that, I will then proceed to invite Bhante to join us. Please put yourself in Anjali.
Let us take a few minutes for the practice of meditation. First of all, let us maintain better, comfortable posture. We are going to practice metta, loving kindness, for a while. For that, maintain easy posture. Now slowly pay your attention to the entire body. That is to awaken our mindfulness. Now we know our own different body sensation. With that understanding, we slowly pay our attention to the breath. Then it can be noticeable. Our upper body moving up and down. In accordance with our own breath. Now we take few breaths mindfully in and out. Now we develop, generate metta, loving kindness within us. Today all of us are very happy to be here. We can sit here quietly, we can maintain our body and mind easily. That means we are healthy physically and mentally. Then we can be happy, thinking that today we are very healthy, physically and mentally. But we know there are many people in the world, different part of the world, at the moment, undergoing enormous suffering. They are suffering due to different causes and conditions. While we maintain our body peacefully here, generating metta, loving kindness to ourselves, let us all together extend our metta, loving kindness to the entire sentient beings in the world. Personally, I like to be free from suffering. free from mental suffering and physical suffering. I like to be free from hatred. I like to be well and happy. In the same manner, let us wish, may all beings in the world be free from suffering. Be free from anger. Be well and happy. Be well and happy. Be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dear Dhamma friends, today we are going to talk about Buddhist perspective of blessings. Now when we say blessings, I think many of you are very familiar with that word. I remember when I was a small boy, I got my first blessing from my own mother. At that time I was severely ill due to fever. And then I remember my mother kindly approached me and chanted a sutta. And later on, she chanted the sutta with oil. You know, it is traditionally, they chant, and then with that oil, she applied on my head. Lovingly, she touched my head, wishing recover soon. That was my first experience of blessing. Then after that, actually I fell asleep well. Therefore, I would like to say that mother's blessing is one of the best blessing in the world. Father's blessing is one of the best blessing in the world. I think many of you may have that kind of experience. So, our parents lovingly, compassionately look after and also always bless us for our well-being and success. With their blessings, actually today we are here. So, very first time, I am very grateful to my mother and father and all my teachers. Without their blessings, I cannot be here in front of you today. And then, I would like to move with this sharing with two sessions. One first session, actually I would like to share how our Theravada Buddhism explain and practice blessing. And then later on, we can discuss what is the best, greatest blessing according to the teaching of the Buddha. Of course, altogether, it is according to the Buddha's teaching. Chanting and blessings in Theravada Buddhism. I limited my sharing to the Theravada Buddhism because you exposed to many traditions. So my understanding is very shallow and limited with regard to the other traditions. So according to the Theravada tradition, chanting is known as paritta. Etymologically, it means protection. Hence, it is defined in the sense of providing protection in every way by the blessings invoked on the truth of the triple gem in general and on the truth of Dhamma in particular. So it is taken from the book, The Aspect of Early Buddhist Sociological Thought by Venerable Jnanaram Mahathera. Now we understand in Buddhist countries like Thailand, Myanmar, in Sri Lanka and even in Singapore also, we use that chanting as a blessing. So we can see here how they practice in order to have a blessing. Invoking blessings by permeating loving kindness. That is one of the methods that we see very often in the practice of blessings. So, Metta Sutta in Sutta Nipata and Kanda Paritta are well-known examples. How to get blessing from the practice of metta. Now when we read the background story of Metta Sutta, or we call Karaniya Metta Sutta, we understand those monks who went to the forest for meditation could not stay peacefully. They were disturbed, different, unseen beings. Then they went back to the Buddha. They informed the Buddha, we cannot practice meditation in that particular place. It is mentioned in the story that Buddha searched entire world with his psychic power, finding suitable place for them to meditate. But Buddha could not see any other place except that place itself. Then Buddha told them, you have to go that place. That is the best place for you to meditate and improve your spirituality. But Buddha actually taught them this Karaniya Metta Sutta, which is about the metta, loving kindness. Now, we know that the Karaniya Metta Sutta explains what are the qualities that we should develop within us, and in what way we must extend and practice and extend our metta towards entire sentient beings in the world. And the goal can be achieved also mentioned in the sutta. So that is how the Karaniya Metta Sutta explains. By doing so, that means developing metta, loving kindness within oneself, one can have that blessing the Buddha mentioned, that blessing we expect. And also, when we practice metta, of course, we can help others with our metta citta, with loving kindness thought, loving kindness words, loving kindness action. So this loving kindness is a very powerful practice. So it is mentioned in the story of the Karaniya Metta Sutta. Later on, all the invisible beings actually help them. All the monks who went to that place, actually, it is mentioned, they meditated well and attained enlightenment. Now there is a very good thing, interesting fact here to pay attention. It happened to even these monks. When we go to a new place, we want to change that new place. We want to change the people who are there. we want to change the physical environment. We are not able to deal with the environment as it is. So, that may not be a good feeling to the people who are living already there. So, this sutta gives us another very beautiful example for us to lead daily life. That is actually, when we go to a new place, we must not hurry to change the place, hurry to change the people. We must be loving kindness. We must be kind. So, very beginning, those monks went to that place and they did not consider about the beings, surroundings. Therefore, all the maybe visible and invisible beings not happy. So later on, Buddha taught them this loving kindness. With that actually they practice it. Then those invisible beings understood, these monks are not dangerous for us. Then they welcome, they help. However, this loving kindness practice is one of the most powerful, beautiful practice in Buddhism that we have. We see another occasions. One monk was bitten by a snake and passed away. Then Buddha told monks, that monk did not have enough loving kindness, enough metta. That is why he was bitten by a snake. So the Buddha there actually advised monks to practice metta. Then we find another beautiful sutta, Khanda Paritta. There we extend metta to every beings. So I think you are very familiar with these suttas. By practicing loving kindness, then we can invoke blessings. Another way is actually a reflection on Dhamma for blessing. You know these three bojjhangas, Maha Kassapattera bojjhanga, Maha Moggallanattera bojjhanga, Maha Chundattera bojjhanga, and also Girimananda Sutta. Some other suttas also here with regard to this. However, these suttas are very good example. When we reflect Dhamma, we can increase our spirituality. In the Bojjhanga Suttas, it is mentioned 7 factors of enlightenment. One who is very familiar with this practice can recollect again, then can overcome the physical and mental uneasiness. By doing so, one can have a blessing. And you know that Girimananda Sutta, monk called Girimananda was not well, seriously ill. Venerable Ananda informed that Venerable Girimananda was not well. Then Buddha told him, learn this sutta called Girimananda and recite for him. It is said that after listening to that, he recovered. So in the sutta, there are 10 reflections. We call dasa sanya, 10 kind of perception. Normally we have a wrong perception. So in the sutta explain how to get right perception. By doing so, one can reflect on Dhamma. Gradually he or she can have blessing. That is one method mentioned. Another very beautiful practice we can see in the Buddhist tradition. In Pali we call Satchakiriya, asseveration of truth for blessing. I do not know this word is familiar with you, but which it means act of truth. The truth on its own quality, virtue, and we call power. With that, one can have a blessing. So Mangala Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, Ratana Sutta, Mangala Sutta are good example for this. Now Venerable Angulimala was in a situation where he saw one pregnant woman was enormous suffering. So he informed the Buddha. Then Buddha said, you can act on truth and help her based on that. So from that day to today, in Buddhist countries actually this Angulimala Sutta is used for blessing. In Ratana Sutta you are very familiar. Each and every stanzas, at the end of each and every stanzas, it is said that etena satcha vajjena sottite hotu sabbada. So this Pali sentence actually is a wishing. By the power of this truth, may there be well-being. So in the sutta throughout, talk about the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, triple gem. So then we understand these are some of the common practice that we can see in Buddhist countries, how to invoke the blessings to oneself and others. Now we have to pay attention to that too. Efficacy of the paritta chanting. When I explain in this way, blessing that can be used for our well-being, so one may misunderstand that we can use this method for every occasion, for every time, which is not true. So that is why here mentioned, it should be mentioned here that the Buddhism does not support invoking blessing by chanting parittas for every occasion, in every respect. In the Milinda Panya, I think you know that book, Milinda Panya. Venerable Nagasena mentions where it does not come to be effective. So these are the three occasions that the chanting and blessing not effective. The chanting would not be effective if the person is endowed with Vaitikama. If someone is heavily influenced of Vaitikama, then it is said that blessing invoking by chanting not effective. If the person is covered with defilements in the process of chanting, it would not be effective. If the person does not concentrate his mind with confidence of the Buddha, Dhamma and community of monks, the desired effect would not be achieved. So I think these are very clear. Even though we do chanting in order to have blessing, these are actually conditionally arising things, which means we know very well as very good Buddhist. We call causes and conditions, paticca samuppada. Things are depending on other causes and conditions. Things arises conditionally. Therefore, we cannot expect the blessing by chanting in every occasion. Now, I would like to go to one of the sutta from here to end. What I mentioned earlier is actually traditionally the method that we use for the blessing. Now when we come to the sutta called Mangala Sutta, it is very interesting. When we go into the sutta, we understand it explains how to get blessing in ultimate sense. So here I mention, in order for you to understand the background of the Mangala Sutta, I think all of you are very familiar. So there was a discussion, debate about the Mangala. So some says the scene is the good omen in the world. We call Ditta Mangala. The herd is the good omen in the world. Sutta Mangala. The sense is the good omen in the world. Mutta Mangala. So Mutta here including other three sensory experiences, smelling, tasting and touching. So people had this discussion. They could not come to agreement, conclusion, and also it had among the deities, they also could not come to a conclusion. Then a certain deity came to the Buddha and asked Buddha's help for that. Then actually Buddha, as we very often see in some other suttas, Buddha did not reject all whatever they said. Instead of that, Buddha explained certain factors as the greatest blessings. Now, when we think about these discussions happen among the people, we call Ditta Mangala, Sutta Mangala, Mutta Mangala. We can interpret these three as our sensory experiences, right? Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we smell, whatever we taste, whatever we contact. So these are called sensory experiences. So these sensory experiences, considered if they are good or mangala. It happened long time ago. Even today also, those who are not exposed to the Buddha's teaching, they may consider like this. Now we understand different cultures in the world, they have different kind of acceptances as mangala. Opposite of mangala we call avamangala. It's a different word. Bad omen. So I think now when it comes to Chinese culture, so you know that number 4 is not good, right? So I have seen some restaurant even, they do not count number 4. So that is one acceptance, one of the acceptance we see in the Chinese culture. Even in Sri Lankan culture also, in our country we also have. And when we go to even Europe or Western countries, they also have similar acceptances like this. But altogether we can say these are common people's belief. No strong ground for that. So that was there. Even today we see these things. Even in the future also we see. So then, now very interesting set of gathas in the Dhammapada. You can see those set of gathas start with this: Bahungve saranang yanti pabbhatani vananicha aramarukka chetyani manussabhaya tajjita. Why people seeks certain places as their refuge or blessing? That is because fear they have in them. When they are threatened by worldly condition, then they try to seek some sort of console, blessings, to avoid these we call bad luck. So this set of gathas very interesting. It ends with the Four Noble Truths. Then next one it is said, Netan ko saranang kemang, netan saranamuttamang, netan saranamagam, sabbadukka pamunchati. Buddha said this is not the favorable refuge. Why? You can imagine when once you visited certain places for blessing. I mean, disregarding any religious places, that does not mean they are wrong, they are totally wrong. That means actually they are depending on certain conditions, that therefore they can be changed. So that is why Buddha say, they are not true safe not favorable, that can be turned otherwise, then we are not again happy. So Buddha here actually wanted to show us true nature of our own life. Instead of consoling us, telling some stories. So that is very interesting. Now in the Mangala Sutta, Sutta Nipata Khuddaka Nikaya, so you come very often, these 38 blessings. The Buddha said that this is the greatest blessing. Etam Mangala Muttama. Now we have to think why they become greatest blessings. Now I would like to show you here the Mangala Sutta. When we go into the Sutta, we can see how the Buddha shows us right understanding. The right understanding is the most important thing that one must have. So, the right understanding, we know there are twofold, right? We call mundane right understanding and supramundane right understanding. Lokiya Sammaditthi and Lokuttara Sammaditthi. In the Mahatattarisika Sutta, the Buddha said that what bhikkhus is right view? Right view, I say, is twofold. There is right view that is affected by taints, associated with merit, ripening in the acquisitions. And there is right view that is noble, taintless, supramundane, a factor of the path. Now we know there are two types of right understanding. Mundane right understanding and supramundane right understanding. So we go back to the sutta. You can see the factors directly related to mundane right understanding are here. So what is mundane right understanding? As the sutta explained here, there is right view that is affected by taints, partaking of merit, ripening in the acquisitions. So these are called 10 factors connected with the mundane right view. Here we can see one who have that mundane right understanding, he or she believe in karma and result of karma, which is very important. Now when we go to the sutta, in Mangala Sutta we can see among these 38 factors, many factors connected with the mundane right understanding. One can practice these factors which is involved in the mundane right understanding when the Buddha Sasana is not available. So they can do a lot of good activities. As a result of that, they can be born in a better realms. Now you remember the story of Maga, head of the Devas, Sakka. How he became the head of the Devas is clearly mentioned that he practiced certain good activities. He became a social worker. He helped many people. Finally, actually, it is said that that is the good karma he had to be a head of the Devas. So that is believing in karma and result of karma. We call a part of right understanding. We call mundane right understanding. So, supramundane right understanding, actually that is to reflect in terms of three characteristics: impermanence, dissatisfaction, and not self. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. From that point onwards, one can practice insight and develop that path. So, then that is we call supramundane right understanding. Now, I would like to share with you here whole society and how the society can be influenced by Buddha's teaching. Now here we can see ordinary people, those who are not exposed to the teaching of the Buddha. Very beginning. So we can see many suttas reference to this. When we go to the sutta called Kalama Sutta, the Buddha addressed the Kalamas and taught them mundane right understanding. Buddha told them how to differentiate wholesome and unwholesome. Kalamas were not Buddhist. They were not the Buddha's followers. Then Buddha established in them mundane right understanding. That is necessary at the beginning. Even with regard to the Mangala Sutta, a certain deity was explained the 38 factors. Gradually all the 38 factors are nothing but mundane and supramundane factors. So when someone who is in a position to understand Dhamma, listen Dhamma, and gradually can go to another step, then he or she can understand what is good, what is wholesome, what is bad, what is unwholesome. We call kusala and akusala, basically. Then he or she may understand clearly and accept karma and result of karma. We call kammasa kata sammaditthi, believing in karma and result of karma. Now after engaging in so many Buddhist activities, listening to many Dhamma talk, reading many Dhamma books, studying suttas, one may have further understanding of Dhamma. Then he or she may not have idea to be born again, because he or she may understand Wherever we are born, there is suffering. Dukkha comes after us, even though we are reached in a Brahma world. It is called, there are 31 realms. Wherever we are born in these 31 realms, dukkha is sure. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. So therefore, he or she may think and naturally can have disattachment. So then practice this level. So that can be a noble person, or we can say a follower of the Buddha, disciple of the Buddha who reflect in terms of impermanence, dissatisfaction, and not self, leading towards the Nibbana and attain sublime bliss of Nibbana. Then finally, what is the greatest blessing? According to the Mangala Sutta, you can see the last here, the verse. It is to awaken one's own right understanding. The Buddha Dhamma is the ladder to reach its culmination. It will guide one gradually to reach the Nibbana, the end of suffering. So actually, greatest blessing is to awaken our own right understanding, sammaditthi. When we have right understanding within us, this is going to happen to all of you. Those whose minds remains unmoved when touched by problems of the world, free from sorrow, stainless and secure, this is the greatest blessing. So that is clear that greatest blessing is none other than having right understanding. So therefore we all must work in order to awaken our own sammaditthi, right understanding. So today, that's all what I wanted to share with you.
Thank you, Bhante. Let's say 3 sadhus. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So any questions for Bhante for his talk today before we invite him for lunch? No questions? Okay, so Bhante would like to request that can you lead us in the dedication of merits?
Okay, can.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here today for Dhamma sharing. And then now we come to the dedication of merit. So, very beginning you observe precepts, and then I think you did the pooja here as usual. And then now, after that, you all together practice metta, loving kindness. We had a short period of Dhamma sharing. We all dedicated our time and labor for the sake of understanding Dhamma. By doing so, we generated merits. Let us share the merits with the departed relatives. Especially today, that we dedicate merits. Late sister Amanda Quick. So, we dedicate merit that we have generated by practicing meditation, offering and observance of precept, sharing of Dhamma to late sister Amanda Quick. Wherever she is born, may she be well and happy, may she be well and happy. Finally, may she be able to attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And let us recite the Gatha verse together. Idam me ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. At the same time, we share the merits with the deities. May all the deities rejoice in this merit. Having rejoiced in this merit, may they be well and happy. May they be well and happy. May all the deities bless upon you for your well-being and success. Finally, may all of them attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahindikā puññantaṃ anumoditva chiraṃ rakඛantu sāsanaṃ. Kāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahindikā puññantaṃ anumoditva chiraṃ rakඛantu desanaṃ. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahindikā puññantaṃ anumoditva chiraṃ rakkhantu maṃ paranti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Wishing all living beings in the world, let us recite this Gatha or verse together. Dukkhaṃ patthā ca niddukkha bhayaṃ patthā ca nibbaya sokaṃ patthā ca nissokha hontu sabbepi pānino. Dukkhaṃ patthā ca niddukkha bhayaṃ patthā ca nibbaya sokaṃ patthā ca nissokha hontu sabbepi pānino. Dukkhaṃ patthā ca niddukkha bhayaṃ patthā ca nibbaya sokaṃ patthā ca nissokha hontu sabbepi pānino. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Finally, we wish all of you good health, happiness, and all the success.
Let's thank Bhante with 3 bows, and then we'll invite him out for lunch.
Sukhi hotu, sukhi hotu, sukhi hotu. Wish you good health, happiness, and all the success.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we'll end the session today with end of service dedication. I dedicate the merits which I have accumulated to the cultivation of my mind in order to bring happiness and benefits to all sentient beings. I dedicate the merits to my parents, children, spouse, relatives, friends, colleagues, and my adversaries, wishing them long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity. May we never part from the Triple Gem, and may we always walk the path towards enlightenment. Let us pay respect to the Triple Gem. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantang Avivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Sahawaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us today. We'll see you in the next session.